Righty, welcome in and welcome back, everybody, to the MLS Live podcast on Sports Profit TV. As always, I'm Cooper, also known as the Proph or Prophet. With me, as always, is Garrett, my good friend and co-host. And before I forget, if you're watching, please hit the like button. Definitely subscribe. If you're not subscribed to the channel, you never know what's going to happen on social media these days as far as outages and stuff like that. So if you subscribe, you'll get a notification every time we go live. But we, of course, are here talking week 2 Major League Soccer betting. I was talking to Garrett before the show, right? Week 1, not our finest work, but we did do something better this year in week 1 than we did compared to last year in week 1. Was we had no multi-unit plays this year in week 1. We did last year, but I don't know. It's almost good luck at this point to have a bad result on week 1, because that has not stopped us from bouncing back and having some fantastic seasons, right?
No, it sucks to get toasted like on a weekend, right? Especially an opening weekend. There's all this excitement and stuff, but no, that one bad week does not make a season. There are 30 more weeks to go. That's just for MLS, let alone Leagues Cup, CONCACAF, all that stuff. So plenty of bets to be made between then and now.
Yeah, without a doubt. Couple of, I guess, takeaways, which we will obviously get into them, right, as we go through these games. There's always some surprises. There's always some stuff that you're just not going to know until you see the teams. And then you see the teams play and you're like, okay, this team is different this year. This team doesn't have this. They had, the turnover got to this team more than it did to team B or whatever, right? So getting our eyes on it, that's always a big part of both of our handicaps, because we both try to absorb basically as much soccer as possible. Welcome in, Jacob. As always, we got the chat up and running, so if y'all want to jump in there during the show, chit chat, ask some questions, we'll always try to do our best to get back to you. But let's jump into it, though. We got some winners to give out. We are very hungry and ready to bounce back and have a big week for week 2. So we'll start with, I guess I'm going to call them a surprise team, because I didn't know that these guys were going to be quite this polished to start the season. But San Diego FC hosting St. Louis City, opening their season. It's their inaugural home game at Snapdragon Stadium, which is a very nice venue there in San Diego. But Garrett, this is your game, so what do we got?
Yeah, so I'm going to keep these short and sweet as we look to bounce back from last week, and this is going to be just an over 3. We're going to take the over 3 here. San Diego attack it's who we thought it would be, right? Like, we thought the attack would be good with Chucky and the 2 Danes. It was. I really liked what I saw from the San Diego attack. I'm like the over 3 here, even though they just played even though they just held the Galaxy goalless, because they set back knowing that Peck was really the only weapon the Galaxy had. And so San Diego just set back and took their chances. Being at home, I expect them to be much more on the front foot. I almost made this a multiple unit play, but after a bad week and it only being week 2, I just want to stay a little conservative here. For St. Louis, it's similar to the Rapids read last week, where St. Louis on the road were money for goals, as their road games averaged 4 goals a game last season. It was just goals galore. So here I've got what I think is going to be a confident San Diego side on the front foot. I still don't trust that defense at all. The Galaxy looked very one-dimensional with it was Peck or nobody last game. So I don't even think San Diego got truly tested. I think St. Louis can give them some. And I think we'll see San Diego's defensive issues start to appear in this game. However, I can see San Diego winning this game. That attack is good, and especially being home with those vibes and that atmosphere. I think we see goals here. And so with this price, I'm going to have to jump on the over 3.
Yeah, welcome in, Steve. Absolutely, we're going to bounce back. This game, man, I've got a lot of interest in this game. Weather, it looks like another cold snap could be coming through towards Saturday through some parts of the Midwest and the Northeast. So we'll have nice weather in this game, right? Not usually any issues in San Diego in that regard. But man, the Danes, bro, these 3 Danes for San Diego are smooth with it. Like they are really polished and just very natural fit for those guys. Looks like they've been playing together their whole life. And then obviously you got Herrera and throw Luca Del Torre in there, who's a very good player in his own right. This is going to be a good team, man. I think this season, this looks like a playoff team from week 1, right?
I'm willing to say it'll be a good attack. I gotta see this defense hold it together week after week. Like that's the hard part. I think HU actually mentioned it. He was like 16 or 17 MLS attacks got better, and like none of the defenses actually improved. And so like
Right.
I think you're just gonna see more and more pressure on these defenses to show up a game in and game out. And like I said, San Diego, they played Galaxy perfect. It was just sit back, don't let Peck beat you and then get them on the counter. And that's exactly what they did. So as far as they drew it up, I think San Diego would get like, an A+, like this is the game plan and they executed it. There's no way this team isn't more on the front foot being at home in front of those fans for their first game in MLS. And so if you're going to open it up a little more, that's when I get to see that defense be tested. And so I think the attack will be good all season long as guys stay healthy. I don't know about that defense, man. There's a bunch of MLS rejects on that back line.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, at the same time, though, we saw LA Galaxy go on a magical run and just outscore everybody last year, right? So
to the Galaxy's credit, they brought in a center back in the summer and put him in that back line next to Yoshida, and that changed everything. Like that playoff run, their defense was amazing. And so you do got to have the spine to hold up against some of these attacks. And so Galaxy played their cards right last season and made it work.
I like both of these attacks. I mean, we just talked about the San Diego and their season opening performance on the road against Galaxy. I like St. Louis City too, man. They're finally healthy. They've got all their Germans. This is like the Germans versus the Danes in this one in a way. But
St. Louis put up 2 XG last game in a 0-0 draw to the Rapids. Like as annoying as that is, like sometimes you run into that. St. Louis is going to attack. I'm not worried about them.
Yeah, we know how they play on the road too. The St. Louis City team was a good team to back on the road as far as goals, at least last year, right? Especially when they were healthy. But yeah, looking forward to this one. This is one I will definitely have on one of the screens, maybe even the big screen, just because it's San Diego's, first home game. It's a big stadium too. It holds like 36,000. So they expect a sellout, obviously, and a really exciting environment there. All right. We'll go ahead and keep it moving. Next one here, we got Chicago Fire at home. They're going to be hosting DC United. Honestly, who looked absolutely abysmal. DC United is clearly struggling right now because they're not the same team, right? They don't have the service and the midfield pieces that they had last season, where Benteke was basically just shooting layups. Like they were just swinging the ball in, and he was just jumping higher than anybody can jump, and on planet Earth, basically, and just making layups. These guys were at home last week and created one big chance at home and 0.73 expected goals with Benteke, right? This was an attack that was very good last year. It was like one of the better ones in the MLS, Golden Boot winner. I don't think they have it. We just saw some news about Chicago's 10 Gutierrez getting suspended for this game. I didn't get to look at it, but I basically saw somebody saying like, wow, like Messi and Suarez break all these rules, and then Gutierrez does something way less and he gets a whole game suspension. I didn't see what he did, but I know he's out. So
he struck a player. Like I don't know how he struck it. Like I did not see the actual strike, but it was coming into contact with the player, and that got him and he did not get a red card in game. This was after the game's over, the league reviews and issued out a suspension.
Gotcha. Yeah, I think Gutierrez missing is really, really tough for this for the Chicago attack. And then I just don't think, again, DC does not have the support pieces there for Benteke right now. So I think this is going to look rusty. I think this is going to be very choppy. And the fact that this game, the total's at 3, I think it's wrong. I think this total is completely wrong, to be honest with you. And I think we're still at the point, obviously it's early enough in the season that there's going to be some lines that are just flat out wrong. I think this is one of them. So give me the under 3.
So it's funny because like the over 3 was going to make the show before the Gutierrez news.
That's a big,
And then
that's a
I
big
immediately
piece.
pulled it out and said, no, thank you. Like, but I was going to be on the over 3 because I know DC can't defend. And Chicago just gave up 4 goals to the Crew who don't have a 9. And so like, so I know Chicago is going to have trouble defending too. However, Gutierrez was a big part of that attack and why Chicago got 2 goals. So I Bomba with 2 assists. Like you got Kuipers there. Like I like what the Chicago attack could look like, but Gutierrez is such a big part of it that I just without him, I don't want a total in this game. So I completely backed off. This sounds, I don't know, like the playing bad defenses just scares me with unders, right? Like even with missing pieces. So I see it. I can see the under 3 and why that exists here. If you're so disjointed and just cannot string passes together and stuff. But again, bad defenses in MLS usually get burnt by somebody, right? Like I don't know if this becomes a Bomba game or whatever. I mean, Kuipers only played a half last game. Like he's still working on some fitness. So if he can go the 4th time, DC United has to change what they do. Like you still have to just send the ball in to Benteke. Like that has to be your game plan. So right. I'm hoping this is a snooze fest. I do. I hope it's a snooze fest because I don't want to have pulled that play out because Gutierrez not playing and then it still hits. That would just feel bad.
Of course, that always sucks when your leans don't hit. But yeah, no, I feel pretty good about this one. I mean, I'm with you as far as probably not firing on any multi-unit plays, but this would have been close to consideration if it wasn't so early in the season. We'll keep right on grooving though. Next game, we've got LAFC hosting NYCFC, who I think you said they've only got 1 designated player on the roster right now.
Currently, yes. After selling Rodriguez, they now have 2 open DP spots. So we are going to do a combo play here with LAFC money line and the under 4.5. And we're getting at plus 120 for that. So this is LAFC to win and the total to stay under 4.5. LAFC is hosting NYCFC. This is LAFC's 4th game in 12 days, which is one reason why I like the under here. As well as they just look a little out of sorts, right? They're getting the results, but it looks clunky. It's disjointed. It's not free flowing like we're used to seeing. They want to have possession more this season, so they're not counterattacking as much. And that was what made their attack flow last season. Was they're always looking to counter. So that attack is having some trouble getting off the ground here in week 1, and I think going into week 2. I don't expect them to run riot or anything, but they're going against the NYCFC side, who, like we just said, has 2 open DP spots, and that's just not a recipe for success in this league. It's a young team traveling to the West Coast. We've talked about the West Coast home field advantage many times in the show. And then New York didn't look good up a man versus Miami for almost 70 minutes. Like I get it's Miami. Like it's a good side. Messi was still out there. Suarez was still out there. Everyone was doing their thing. But in 70 minutes up a man, they got 2 goals, but had less than 1 expected goal with a man advantage. Like, so this price just feels really good for a spot where LAFC, I think, get it 1-0, 2-0. I think you're going to keep seeing the slow attack here for LAFC, especially when they're having to play CONCACAF Cup right now.
Yep.
This just feels like a good spot to be able to parlay these together. I don't see how we get 5 goals here, and I do expect LAFC to get the win.
Yeah, so I'm with you here on a couple fronts. Number one, I like the price. I'm never gonna, be upset with plus money. Secondly, I do think this is the likely result. I do think the way these two teams match up, 1-0, 2-0 does feel very, very likely. It's kind of a funny one for me though, because I've already decided that I'm going to be fading this LAFC team at some point this year. Not in this game, but in the right matchup early in the year. I'm not loving LAFC by any means. And you even mentioned it, like they look different. It's a little bit choppy. It's a little bit disjointed, right? I still think they have enough. Like, I think this is the way to play this game. Get some value, get some plus money. You don't want to lay juice with this LAFC team right now, right? So I'd like it in that regard for sure. And I also like that we're picking on an NYC team that is pretty shorthanded at the moment. There's a lot of good things going our way for this one. It's just one of those.
They lack so much. They lack
Yeah,
so much creativity without Rodriguez.
they do. Yeah,
He was the heart of that attack.
yeah.
And then Maxi Morales, who used to be the heart of the attack before Rodriguez got there. He's just old, man.
Just so old.
He's just old. It's still good, but just old. What is your panic level 1 to 10 on Giroud?
Personally, I don't know if panic is the right word, but let's say bust level, right? Like, where's my bust alarm right now? 1 to 10. I'm at like a 7.8.
Wow, that's high.
Yeah. Because it's becoming more clear that it's just not a fit. And they don't have the guys there right now for it to be a fit. The counterattacking style that they played last year wasn't a fit. And whatever they're doing right now, I mean, you got Ebobisi out there starting
and scoring.
And scoring. Really nice strike, by the way. Really broke my heart, obviously, because I was on Minnesota, and I thought Minnesota played valiantly in that game, by the way. But you got Oliver Giroud on your team and Ebobisi starting. I mean, 7.8 minimum. How about you?
I don't know. All I can think about is what do you do with Giroud when Griezmann gets there, right? Like, that's all I can think about, because it's basically just written in smoke right now that Griezmann's coming to LAFC. If he comes, I don't know what you do with Giroud. Like, does Giroud come to MLS to be a super sub? Like, that's
No
like the
way.
path we're heading towards.
No way. He's going back. I mean, yeah.
Maybe.
Unless they just maybe they play well together. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. It's not looking good. Not looking good.
Giroud is a surprising one for sure. I'm usually pretty good with the bust ratings, and Giroud eluded me. I thought he would be a better fit than he's shown so far.
And maybe some of it is too, man. I mean, like, we have seen the difference in his like international career and like his club career at times too. And I know a lot of that is because of, tactics and style too. But he is old. And when you get that old, like, you can fall off the cliff like any day, right? So he could just also be kind of washed. And I hate to say that because it's a very negative phrase, but all righty. Next one. This is going to be one of two legs. I didn't make one graphic for this. It's going to be this graphic and the next first leg here. Got Charlotte hosting Atlanta United. And I'm going to run both teams to score for this one as the first part of my parlay. Let me pull up last game, right? So crazy stat from the Atlanta game. Montreal was second last week in expected goals statistic created, right? They created 6 big chances, 2.68 expected goals on the road at the Benz, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I do think Atlanta's got some defensive issues, to say the least, to work out. Speaking of Father Time, Brad Guzan is a million years old. Yeah, although I mean, like he has pulled rabbit out of his hat before, but that's a lot
I
of
mean, he single-handedly kept Messi out of the playoffs last season. Like,
best
you
game
can
of
listen.
yeah.
I won't have any Guzman slander right now. Okay,
No,
I
you're
know
right.
he's old, but
Yeah,
he single-handedly sent Miami home.
dude, has to be the best game of his career. I mean,
Yeah, it's up there. It's
all
up there for
factors
sure.
considered, like the injury, the age, everything, Messi, like that one is going on his that picture is going on his trophy shape on his shelf, and like he 100% gets to admire that for the rest of his life because that was just absurd. But yeah, so I do think Atlanta's got some issues. I think Charlotte. I like their attack okay. I think, I don't know what to think about Zaha yet, but he's supposed to be available for this one. So I do think both teams score here in this game. Atlanta United's attack looks as advertised. I think they'll only get better the more that they play together. So that's going to be the first leg of my 2-leg parlay. And then my second leg, unfortunately, going to have to fade your Nashville SC. Obviously, nothing personal. And I'm going to back New York Red Bull on the money line on this one. I thought they played pretty well against Cincinnati on the road. I think Choupo-Moting, as much as we didn't really love the signing, he's going to be okay. Like he's going to, I don't love the circumstances around it, as far as like the price tag and everything, but I think he'll be fine. Like he'll be fine. I don't think he'll be a total bust by any means. Obviously, you got Forsberg and Lewis Morgan and good defensive team, good midfield, all that stuff. So I think this is just, and I wasn't overly impressed with Nashville. I don't know what BJ's cooking, to be honest with you, but I didn't love it in the home opener. And I just think Red Bull, they're going to be good again, man. Like this is going to be a team that's good again, and they're good at home. And the money line by itself is like around -150. So I would rather play that than a couple of the other steeper money lines, and throw these together, get +171.
So I'll start with Montreal because they're my biggest surprise from week one. And that is that I think they are all gas, no brakes. I did not expect them. Like, I kept wondering, like, okay, you brought in Joseph, but you've got this other striker. Joseph, he's better than Joseph, but you're not going to. Joseph has left teams. Like, he's been on 4 teams in 4 years, primarily because he's like, I refuse to be on the bench. Like, I'm not a sub.
Right.
And so I kept wondering, how is that going to work out? And they run out with both of them. And I'm like, interesting. Okay. 2 strikers. And then, yeah, they are going to leak on the road like they did last year. Like that is pretty clear. However, I think that even in losses, Montreal is just going to be fun to watch. And like they have moved up my watchability board a ton. Like I'm going to watch their games. I think a lot of their games will be good for goals. I liked what I saw. I don't think they're going to win a lot of games. Let me preface that. Like I just think they're going to be fun games. I think it's just going to be goals.
They're a Mike Leach air raid offense. They're going to score a million points and allow a million points.
It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. So I wasn't surprised that they got that kind of XG on Atlanta. I think Atlanta's defense is going to have question marks this season, but I'm not downgrading Atlanta's defense because of Montreal, if that makes sense, right? Montreal came out and they were just going to attack. That's what they were going to do. They were going to create chances no matter what. Left them very vulnerable on the backside, but that's how they're going to play, it seems. So, I still like the Atlanta attack. Charlotte, they should be able to score at home. I just really hope this doesn't turn into Atlanta dud. Like you want to be like, it can't be an Atlanta dud, right? Look at that attack. Like there's no way. But like Charlotte's just one of those teams that's just always going to hang in there. So I like this approach of like both teams to score as opposed to trying to pick a side here because I mean Atlanta's a juicy +220 on the road. Yeah. Now we've talked about Atlanta's historical road history.
Yep.
That makes sense, but it's not good, right? And so I like that attempt as opposed to like trying to pick a side here, try and take a low plus money Charlotte at plus like 120 or something, or really reach for a dog like Atlanta. Both teams to score, good look there because that game could finish 1-1 in my opinion. Like I could see that. So I like that. I don't hate what Nashville is doing right now. I blame everything that happened last game on the cold because I underestimated the cold both in my analysis and personally because I showed up there not prepared for that weather. So I was frozen. And so I can't imagine
How
playing it. It
cold
was
was
much
it?
more fun.
Was it like
It
20s?
got yeah, I get down to the mid-20s, but like it got down quick. Like I thought it was gonna be closer to the end of the game.
Yeah.
No, it was I mean, while I was trying to eat my empanadas, it was cold, cold.
Oh, not the
Um,
empanadas.
I know, right, man? Best empanada,
Man,
like best stadium food anywhere in any major league
those
soccer
do
team.
look great, honestly.
Um, so I, this Red Bull team frustrates me because when I watched that game, all I saw was the same three dudes in attack in the same spots. Like they all tried to like play the same role. And so they've got to figure that out, man.
Yeah.
Forsberg, Morgan, and Chupa can't all be in the same spot. Like they've got to get it figured out. Otherwise, it's just like if you told me this game ended 0-0, I would not be shocked. I think this is going to be an ugly game. What Nashville is doing well, though, is they are trying to narrow the field. And so when you watch how they play, they shift everyone over, whether they're in possession or out of possession, and just narrow the field and don't give you room. Where I like Red Bulls in this game, and this is if they can hit it. When Nashville switches, if you can hit the long, like right fullback to left wing cross, I mean, just that long, just cross the field breaking pass. If you can hit that, you could absolutely torch Nashville. That's where they're going to be vulnerable this season. But like, that's not the easiest pass to hit. However, going in transition like that was what the Red Bulls wanted to do last season. They wanted to suck you in and then
Yep.
release Morgan or over the top, right? So
Yep.
we'll see if the Red Bulls can do that game plan versus Nashville. If they can, they will cruise to a win. Like I'm not worried about it. However, I like what Nashville is building. Surge had multiple opportunities week one to score and just could not find the net. I hope that doesn't become a trend, but I do see like that is the play for the Red Bulls to win. If they can do that line breaking pass across the field, you will torch Nashville. But that is how you're going to beat them.
Okay. Fair enough. Matt in the chat, I wanted to respond. Thoughts on Charlotte Atlanta over 3. First of all, if you have a book where that is minus 120, cancel your account and find another book. Because that should be like well into the plus money range. I just pulled up one of my books and over 3 is plus 118. You can get over 2.5 for like minus 135. So I would not pay that kind of juice for over 3 for Charlotte Atlanta. No way. But general thoughts on the over. The total sitting at a 2.75 on most books or a juiced over 2.5. I would probably lean that way, but again, you know, this is technically a rivalry game. Atlanta, they are extremely talented in attack, but they are still kind of figuring it out. So it's one of those games. Okay, you said it was a typo. Gotcha. So it's one of those games. It's like if Charlotte's up 1-0, I think Atlanta has enough talent to score a goal. Like even if it's like a great individual effort, I think they have enough talent to find the back of the net in this game, even if the attack is not necessarily polished yet. Yeah. So he said the over 3 is plus 120. Heck, man, I would just find a 2.75 that's like minus 110 or better. But because I don't know if the game gets over 3 goals, but 2-1 wouldn't shock me. 1-1 wouldn't even shock me. But I feel good about both teams scoring in this game. That's why I use the both teams to score for the parlay piece. Garrett,
I would stay away from a total here.
yeah,
Charlotte at home is always strong. Atlanta has always struggled on the road, and it's not just struggling to get wins; they have struggled to score on the road too historically. Now I get it. This is a different attack than they've had pretty much since their prime Josef Martinez days. But yeah, a total there in Charlotte is not a place I'm probably landing with my money this week.
Yep, I'm with you. I love the both teams to score, obviously, but total definitely probably staying away. All righty, let's keep it moving. We've got last game, RSL, who are playing right now in the CONCACAF Champions Cup, hosting Seattle Sounders.
Yeah, it's funny because Q showed up in the chat. So yeah, we're gonna go with Sounders draw no bet as they are going on the road to Salt Lake. Sounders are going to be a good team against inferior talent. Where they struggle is against bigger spending clubs with top tier DPs.
For sure.
We've just seen that season after season. RSL is not that. I don't love the 11 RSL are rolling out to start the season. They don't have a clear 9. They've got a Nashville SC who has struggled to score goals, reject starting. It's just not a good side. So I would expect the Sounders to at least grab a point here, which is why I'm sticking with the draw no bet as it's plus money. But I am going against history. Like, just so you're clear that I'm very clear-eyed about this. The Sounders haven't gotten a win in Salt Lake since 2012. And over that time, they've lost 12 of their 14 matches there. But that's how down I am on this RSL side, who's about to get knocked out of CONCACAF as on away goals. So
are they really?
Yeah, it's just it's 1-1. So
God, they suck.
It's about to be 2-2 because 1-2 because RSL just gave away a penalty.
This RSL team is so bad right now, man.
Or maybe not. Maybe not a penalty. Oh no, it is. Yep. So yeah, so RSL's out. Like they're going out. They're a bad side. I'm not even worried about the Sounders playing later tonight because both teams are playing midweek. So that midweek price is already baked in.
Yeah.
This is a side where I think Sounders can turn around history and at least get a draw here and we get a push. But I could see Sounders getting all 3 points. And like I said, that hasn't happened since 2012.
Yeah, I mean, look at who RSL lost, right? They lost their 3 top goal scorers.
70% of their goal contributions last season are gone.
Insanity. And they have not been adequately replaced.
I read something from Tom today where he was like, they're scrambling to try to find a 9. Like they've reached out to multiple MLS teams. Like they're trying to find a striker anywhere right now.
Yeah, they have some kid playing. His name is escaping me. Ajago.
Yes, he was formerly of Nashville SC.
Yeah, he was with Nashville.
Scored his first goal ever, I think tonight. Did he score one? Yeah, I think tonight was his first professional goal.
I think he was actually a super draft guy. So, good for him, but that it's not going to cut it, man. I mean, they've lost way too much. And I noticed that right away because I backed Herediano in Costa Rica. That game ended 0-0, but I was like, dude, if they would have gone and got that game, it would have been theirs. But I guess it's going to work out for them anyways because RSL keeper just got sent off and they just gave a penalty. So,
dude, this is such CONCACAF, right? The time was plus 5 minutes. We're in the 100th minute now. That is what we're in.
That is so CONCACAF, and it's that Liga MX ref, which I told you about Liga MX. But
I've been telling you about Liga MX for years, man. Don't put your money there.
Well, I'm not going to stop doing that. No chance, buddy. But this bet, man, I like this bet. Seattle they have injected just enough youth into this roster. They've made the right moves, right? Like you said, they're going to beat bad teams because they're still so defensively sound. What's his name? De La Vega had a beautiful, like a 30+ yard banger last CONCACAF game on the road in Honduras, I think. Or sorry, maybe Guatemala, I can't remember, but great goal. So he's healthy. He's playing well. Hadn't been healthy basically the whole year last year. Ferreira is fast. Yeah, I'm with you. I think this is a good spot. This is one, guys. Lock it in. Guarantee you this is not going to be plus money on Saturday. I mean, I can smell.
No, not after this result. No way.
Yeah, I can smell the line moving from here. So, Q says this ref is something else.
Moving as we speak.
Yeah, basically moving as we speak. But that is 5 official show picks. So as always, appreciate everybody tuning in live. It makes it a lot of fun when you guys tune in live and chat with us. And that's really what we're here for. We love doing it. We love this league. Love seeing it grow. It has been an absolute blast. Thankful to have the platform and all that good stuff. So if you wouldn't mind hitting the like button, if you want to, definitely consider subscribing. That way you will never miss a video. Any thoughts, Garrett, before we close out?
San Jose aren't a good team.
Oh, okay. Fair enough. They did win 4-0.
We talk about how bad this RSL side is, right?
Yeah.
They basically had the same XG as San Jose in that 4-0 victory.
Talk to me about Orlando, because they created like 2.5 XG, right? And they get thumped at home by Philly to open the season. Now they're a -170 favorite.
If you're Orlando, you are taking that game, balling it up, and throwing it in the trash. Philly scored on every shot they took. You just can't take anything from that. It's the first time in Philly's history that they've scored with every shot on target they've had on game.
I'm going to make a statement about the Crew. I do have some interest in them this week on the road at New England. And I'm going to say, look, I know Cucho's gone, right? I get it. Wish him all the best in Spain. I think the Crew are still the Crew. I mean, I think this team is still going to potentially battle for the conference.
I think the books agree, only making them they're a favorite going into New England at +125.
Dude, Nancy's just too damn good, bro. He's up there with.
If I'm the Crew, I am sweating this summer
with Nancy,
because clubs are going to come asking. They're going to let their guys go at the end of the season, and they are going to come asking.
I hope he stays. I hope they replace Cucho. They are such a fun team to watch, man. They play like the Kansas City Chiefs of Major League Soccer. They just so smart. Love the system. It's so smooth. That's a team that I definitely find myself rooting for when they're on TV. But all righty, ladies and gentlemen. Well, we appreciate y'all tuning in as always, and we will be back next Wednesday. And best of luck to us this weekend. Hopefully we crush, and we'll see you for week 3 next Wednesday.
See you guys. Thanks.